Well,
I'm just waking up.
just waking up. That's what it feels like some days. But man, our title for this little live chat was, we woke up and AI changed the photography world forever. You know
Yeah,
what? It did.
I didn't know that it had. And then you're like, hey, did you see this? And it's pretty incredible.
We've had a bunch of conversations in a few of these lives on AI and, talking about will it change photography forever? And, well, you know what? This week it did.
Yeah.
It has us actually rethinking a lot of the comments even that we made before of just like, wow, this changes everything. So in case you've been living under a rock at all about AI and photography, ChatGPT just put out their latest image generation engine. And I got to tell you, it has blown me away with what it's creating. In fact, I just showed you, Mark, what I did this morning with AI, and it's craziness. It's craziness.
Yep. No, it blew me away. I'm making sure I'm posting right now to everybody so they can know that we're online. So
okay, perfect.
Aloof here, but
yeah, it's nuts. Like, the whole thing with AI and generating images, like people were always a difficult thing for it to generate well, guess what? Things have changed this week. Like,
yeah, because so first of all, we're talking kind of these general things of AI. What are the big ones that come to mind? Is number one ChatGPT,
yep.
Gronk, and what's the Microsoft one?
I don't even know.
And I hear a lot of people say, great things about, the results they're getting with the Microsoft version of one as well. And it'll come to me. Somebody give us the name of that. But there's like about 4 of them that are just kind of the main ones.
This new ChatGPT thing just like it pushed the envelope so far forward. I mean, it's craziness. But actually, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, because now what you can do, right, is you can give it a reference photo and which is what you did of yourself and said, do this.
So check this out. Like here, let me share this so everybody can take a look. So this image here, this first image is one that I just did a selfie, right, with my phone, clicker and took a picture of myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I ran that into ChatGPT and said, okay, make me into a action hero, right? A photographer action hero. So I put the picture in and I gave it that prompt. This is what it came out with. Oops, I've got to hit the right button. There we go.
Which is funny. That's awesome.
It's incredible. Like, and then I went a step farther and says, okay, now make this into a Marvel action movie or superhero movie poster, right? Came up with the name Shutterstrike, which is a killer name for this action hero.
So that's a big thing that has changed in most of these programs, or at least in ChatGPT, is suddenly now they can deal with fonts and letters and words.
Yes. And words and logos and all kinds of crazy stuff. But here's the amazing thing is, so, when you look back at this original picture, right?
Yeah, you weren't posing. It just put you in there.
And it put me in tactical pants. It gave me nice muscles too. That was awesome. But, look at the fingers. It actually now can draw fingers well. That's been the biggest thing. Is
has been the weird hand stuff.
Like, to be able to do that is blowing me away. But to take just that simple prompt and go, from this picture all the way to this.
I'm only disappointed in the fact that, that since you showed me that, I'm like, I want to do that too. And I'm still looking off to the side. I'm still waiting. It's not coming up for me. It's just saying that it's generating the image. It's been doing that for about 20 minutes. But you gave me some stats that something like, what is there, 5 billion prompts a day or something?
Yep. It's 500 million.
Okay.
Prompting.
So 500 million
asks, right? And it just takes so much computing power to do.
Yeah.
Now, I find this very exciting, right? That you can do this stuff, but in a way it's changed the photography world forever, because if I'm a graphic artist, if I'm a graphic photographer, you know, and I'm shooting pictures to go into a movie poster, right?
Yep.
And now I've got to run that through Photoshop or InDesign or, you know, Illustrator, any of the things that you would use to create a poster. I think my job is kind of done, because literally I just gave it a picture of me standing there and it created this amazing image. So
yes, again, you're right. You think about people that are graphic designers and things like that. And it's one thing to say this is terrible, but there's another thing to say you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Like,
yep.
it's out. It is what it is. You can say how horrible it is, how terrible it is. Well, or you can figure out, how do I use this, because it isn't going away. It's just going to keep getting better.
So we're kind of going through a list of like, what do we think the photography jobs are that are at risk right now, right? With AI progressing the way it's progressing, and it's only going to get better and better. I mean, weekly, it's going to get better and better as the engine is being trained by people uploading images and creating lifelike images, right?
First one that comes to mind is you did a headshot job yesterday. And those ones are the ones that are in jeopardy, I think.
Yeah.
Headshot job. So you're going in there and it literally is, you know, for a website or some sort of publication of just right there, somebody's face of the employees. With something that you just showed me, how easy it is to just walk them through, snap them with a cell phone, run it through there and say, give me pictures of everybody that look identical. You know?
What's scary to me is that, so I did this headshot. I was tasked with, it was for a brand new employee for a company. Honestly, the headshot didn't take me very long because I had this all dialed in. Like I was practiced. I took the shot, looks great. All I had to create for them was one image. One.
Yeah.
Right. I got paid well to do this job. There is AI now that can create headshots for you off of a user's image. So, you know, take it on your cell phone. That will give you 10 different options for $30.
And you can say all you want about it. Doesn't have the personal touch. It doesn't have the, you know what, it's a job that we do. We do headshots. We know that it's a financial decision. Headshots. It is not about, you know, yes, we get jobs because we know somebody, but the reality is, who's ever making those decisions above them, they're going to choose dollar over.
Totally. And you know what? These pictures that I've seen from AI for headshot,
they're good.
They look really good. And if they're showing up this big on a website that most people are viewing on their phone, you can't tell. You can't tell at all. So I think you're right. Headshots, if you're a headshot photographer, reconfigure, readjust, re-steer, redirect. The other one that's big is if you were involved in stock photography. Done. Finished.
You proved that when we had our last San Francisco workshop where we needed some promo stuff. You know, we have promo pictures from before, but you were able to put in like Golden Gate Bridge and it would put that in something. Like, so stock photography. Yeah. If you're sitting there going, I need a picture of someone standing in front of the Golden Gate Bridge in a Boston whaler, 17-foot fishing boat, you know, landing a striped bass. It can do that now. And again, I get it where you say, no, but it's not the same. Doesn't matter that it's not the same. Yeah, we're talking business, this side of it. So that's another one of those jobs I think that are going to be gone. Stock photography.
Product photography. Toast. Like when you type in, if you want to create a logo now with this new engine in ChatGPT, you can say, I want to create a perfume called, you know, Elegant Nights, right? In a purple bottle with the stars behind. Like, it does a perfect product shot. And then you can say, take out stars. Gives you one without stars. Change the bottle from purple to orange, right? Whatever you want to do instantly. And it's perfect. Perfect.
I'm looking at my coffee cup. I could go and say, you know, here's the reference photo from my phone. Create a beautiful model drinking a hot cup of coffee from this mug. I don't have to pay the model. I don't have to. It seriously is in minutes having this ready to go. Like, product photography, because even lifestyle type product photography. It
So
is in jeopardy. Not all of it, but
I immediately think of Netflix. So Netflix, I don't know if you ever let their screensaver run, like if you're trying to figure out what to watch and the graphics come up. Like
yeah.
I think they have some of the best show graphics out there.
Oh,
Like
how many shows have you clicked on to watch and went, this isn't what that picture told me it was. This is boring.
So if you're the person that is
Yeah.
shooting the original photography, you're the person that's doing the graphic artist. That picture that I showed you in the beginning, right? For the whatever the picture was called.
Yeah.
It did it by itself. So that's amazing thing. The other thing that I think is like maybe at risk is real estate photography, which has been a high paying job for a lot of people.
Yeah. Because think about like even what high paying realtors pay for staging.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly now, if you don't have to even stage the house, that thing will stage it for you.
Yep.
You could have it multiple different ways. You could just go like, show my client 7 different configurations of this front room.
Yeah.
And you go, that's me. I want that house. That's exactly how I'm going to set my furniture up. So,
totally.
Yeah.
And then, even event photography. So if you're doing like a step and repeat, which is basically people coming in front of a backdrop, stepping in, taking the picture, they step out, like AI can handle that whole process by itself.
Yeah. And it's still going to require someone to do it. So again, it's one of those things where it's not the good side of this is it makes our job easier on some things. It's just, we have to be willing to like realize that it's going to shift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we are running something that looks more like a photo booth at a step and repeat than standing with the camera, but
AI can do it all without you being there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like it can recognize that someone stepped in the picture.
Sure, that part of it. I'm just saying somebody has to go there, provide that service. They have to set the machine up. They gotta so there's still businesses that are coming out of this, but if you're not willing to start looking towards that direction and all you're saying is, no, I'm going to, I'm going to keep trying to make buggy whips, in 1905, because there's no way these cars are going to take over because I'm going to fight it. You're not fighting it. You're going to have to find ways to change your business. So and the sad part is there's somebody right now that's like 22 years old that's going, I don't know why that old guy thinks he needs to worry about these headshots. I can just set this up and it takes me 10 minutes and it's going to look way better than what he's doing.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So I think, that we maybe have a different outlook than a lot of people do of like, okay, you and I have talked about this till we're blue in the face of like, how can we adjust and redirect in our business 100%? Because there is days that I'm worried like, oh man, I'm not getting all the headshot calls that I used to get. Right. Yeah. But we've talked about ways that we can reconfigure and rethink. Mm-hmm. How can we use it to our advantage,
Because there are some that aren't going to go away, going to a wedding. That's something that happens. It's a moment that needs to be captured, mm-hmm. Family portraits, 100%. That sort of thing. There's a dynamic there that, yes, AI could create something artificial, but who wants that for their family picture? Yeah. So
family pictures, maternity shoots, weddings, those are all very relational. Senior portraits, even. Yeah. It's relational stuff, right?
Yeah. But there's also that ability of the pie getting sliced up more if you're not paying attention, because, we're already seeing it with so many of the new things having to do with like the photo booths.
Yep.
That takes away from our value as photographers, but it makes our job easier because it takes us out of kind of that candid moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're having their own candid moment that we're not having to cover. We can cover more of the staged moments, real moments that are happening within that wedding. But like, who knows what the next step is? Somebody's going to come up with some AI camera that just takes random pictures all over a wedding, that you can create your own little, gallery later mm-hmm. on. And I can tell that there's going to be a lot of photographers that can go, I'm going to fight against it. Then there's going to be some of those that are going to go, I'm going to add that to my traditional service. And those are the ones that are going to do really well.
Yep.
Right. How many times when we book a wedding, 80% of the weddings go, do you guys also do video? right? Every time. Do you do video? And we go, not really. And they go, oh, well, do you know somebody? If we would have said, yeah, we do video, they would have just said, okay, how much more to do video?
Which we do video,
Which we
but
do video, but
we
we
don't
just
enjoy
term
it
it.
like we enjoy the photography side.
Correct. Yeah. And it isn't that we don't, it's just in our wedding. We've talked about this before that you and I, we're only doing 6 or 7 weddings a year because it's word of mouth stuff. It doesn't, we allow it into our business, but it doesn't fit our business like what we're doing the majority of the time. We're always looking for weddings, but yeah, if we were in that genre though, that's all it was, we were wedding photographers only, I'd be looking into everything. Mm-hmm. I'd be rolling out the, and I know a lot of wedding photographers that do that. They provide that booth, the photo booth, and what's the next big thing.
I think it is important for, since you mentioned video, that was going to be one thing that I was going to mention for photographers, is that photographers have to learn video. Mm-hmm. You have to, because everything is transitioning from video. You just look at Instagram, gone from a wall of pictures to a wall of reels.
Yeah. Go look at your favorite photographer today that you've been following. And I guarantee you're going to look at their wall. There's a whole bunch of videos. It's not, you're going to be like, show me the images that they're embedded in that reel somewhere.
Yep.
And for an old guy, it gets frustrating. Like, I just show me, get off my lawn, show me the picture. But the reality is that it's just where we are and we have to adjust.
Totally.
You and I in the last month have really finally said, okay, stop fighting it, start embracing it. Yeah, but it's going to mess our wall up in our Instagram feed. Who cares? It's not a museum. Mm-hmm. It's a sales tool. It's a promotion tool. So we have been starting to use it for that.
Yeah, totally. So, I think going back to the AI part of it is that AI will be coming to video, right? It's already there, but
yep.
I think it's one more thing that you can offer as a photographer to keep yourself relevant, is the whole video side. And I'll just give you this little tip, which I learned from our friend Jeff at Nikon. I sat in on one of his classes that he was teaching, and he's like, guys, what I want you to do is just hit the red button. When you're taking pictures, just remember to hit the red button. The red button is the record button on your mirrorless camera, right? And I've gotten used to hearing that in my head now. Steve, just hit the red button, do some video recording in the middle of your photo shoot. Just capture something. And it gets me thinking more about how do I integrate video into it.
And it makes it easier each time to do it another extra time. So,
yep. The other thing that I don't think is going away with AI is the whole photojournalism, right? Lifestyle, conceptual photography, all that.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's still going to be there. Things still happen.
Yeah.
And so
you think of photo shoots we've done, you go to a winery to do promotion. Yep. It's still about the winery. It's still about that experience of what does it look like there, where AI right now, it doesn't have that ability to give you that, I was going to say, give you the virtual tour and somebody's going to go, yeah, you can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you actually have to pay a lot of money to come in to get that mapped for that. But just the average company is going, I want people to see the view. I want them to see, what's going to happen when they come do a tasting. So yeah, that stuff is,
I think,
and again, right to your point, if I was thinking of, tomorrow I'm going to go find a winery in Napa to go visit, I don't want to look at a picture of it if there's a video that shows me what my experience is going to look like. Yep. Right. So case in point is just, video's king right now.
So with photography, and I think the way that you will be able to survive as a photographer is to become a high touch photographer, right? We've changed some of our business. We do a lot of workshops. We do at least 2 a month, and then we have these big events that happen, quarterly.
Yep.
But we've changed the branding even of those to be experiences. Like we do our Salt Flats experience, our Las Vegas photo experience, right? We're going to do a Oregon Coast experience. So they're all about the experience.
Yeah, because that audience is this big. The ones that want to learn photography is about this big, and
yes.
and we're not going away from that,
No. But everybody wants to have that touch. They want to feel valued, right? So think of your clients in photography. They want to feel valued. They want to feel known, recognized, and they want to look beautiful.
Yep.
You can do that if you're a high touch photographer,
or if you have eVoto.
Or yes, or you can make them look beautiful. You won't change the relationship, but it will make them look good.
It will make them look pretty awesome.
But you know, that's one of the other areas of AI is become an expert at it. Whether you're using something like eVoto or just image generation,
To
learn how.
me, eVoto is the thing that it's the biggest advancement in photography that I've seen this year.
Yeah,
is eVoto. Every day that I open it, my mind just is blown.
But what is eVoto? What if people don't know what eVoto is?
If you don't know what eVoto is, what are you doing with your life? So it is an AI software, editing software, but it is unlike any editing software I've ever seen. Right? I mean, I always tell everybody, I spent 4.5 years traveling the nation. I've been to Australia. I've been all over teaching Photoshop. I love Photoshop. I've been an evangelist for Photoshop, like everywhere I go. And I'm like the last person to say something's better than, but this program, eVoto, can retouch better than I can, and in seconds, and I don't have to teach you how to use it. Like, nobody needs to know, like, when you read it, how it works, the sliders, the way they're named. Come on. Okay, how do I get rid of this? Oh, there's a neck wrinkle slider. I slide the slider, the neck wrinkles go away. There's we learned this last week, 11 lines. Those are, these lines where people get sometimes up here. Some people have them, you slide the remove 11 lines slider and they go away. And it's not like they're blurred or it's just, they disappear and skin reappears over them with pores and texture perfectly.
You zoom all the way in to 400%, and it's a hard time to tell.
Yeah. The main number one slider says, what is it? Blemishes and acne for the face. You slide that thing over, their face skin looks perfect. And there's two sliders underneath it to where you can go, I took too much of the freckles out. You just back off that slider and the freckles reappear, but the blemishes go away. It's that easy. There's nothing to learn. Like, I need to change the lips. So I just go hit lips, and I have all these sliders that say, like, change the lipstick color, make the lips fuller, make the lips whatever, what does one of the ones say that's really funny? It's like dry and cracked lips. You slide it, and if you had like dry skin, it just cleaned it. They're just perfect.
And it still looks like lips.
And it doesn't like make it blurry and smooth. It puts the lines in the real skin line. Like, you can't tell.
So that's the cool thing with AI. So I think you have to learn to embrace AI as a tool, not a threat, right? So we use it to speed up our workflow. We use it not to replace our vision, but to enhance our vision, right? So you may have a vision of how that image is going to look at the end.
Yep.
But you can use something like eVoto AI, and now it's enhancing that. It doesn't replace what I thought it was.
Because it doesn't replace me as the photographer, because I know that my image versus someone who doesn't know how to do photography, just because they use eVoto, it's not going to be the same photo. Mine's intentionally lit. I'm telling a story. I'm looking at my backgrounds. I'm looking at my composition. Like, it's rock solid. It's just a matter of how do I put the polish on it.
Yeah.
So yes, what's that phrase? You can polish a turd, but it's still a turd. It's like, and that is what, you take a horrible photo, you can make it look better, but you're not going to walk away with a great photo. But if you start with a great photo and you polish a great photo, you've got a outstanding photo. So yeah. So I'm so excited about that tool in particular.
Yeah. And I think, I think you got to look at the whole area of AI, and what we said before, and we said it again today. Work with it. You can feel threatened by it, because I still feel threatened by it.
Yep, totally.
Right? But I'm going to learn how to use it to my advantage in every single way. And I think everybody, you need to think about that. How can I use this as a tool, not as a replacement for me, but how can I better myself? Because there's stuff that AI will be able to do in the next year that nobody's even thought of yet, right? But you could be that person that's going to think of, oh, I could use it to do this.
Yep.
So I just think I get kind of excited about it, but a little scared at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
It's what this is kind of what it's like. It's like the transition from DSLRs, or let's go back from film to DSLRs. Do you remember the howling of people? You're not going to take my film away.
yeah, exactly.
That digital looks terrible. That's not going to
Uh-huh.
work. Well, it works pretty well.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it's
then when
working.
it actually got better than film, then you had people go, yeah, but film has a texture and a feel, and
Right.
it just there's a warmth to it and a humanness. They tried to give you all these like nebulous phrases of you're like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I,
So then,
I got more dynamic range than you do. I have more pixels. I have better.
oh, that's just the thing. And so we went from then DSLRs, right? The digital single lens
Yep.
reflex or camera body
Mirrorless.
to mirrorless. And what do we hear?
We're
I
still
can work
hearing
with
it. I'll
mirrorless.
never get rid of my.
Never. Which, you know what? If you have a D850 Nikon camera, next 40 years, it's still going to take great pictures,
It is.
right? Some of the best pictures in the world are taken on that camera body. Some of the best pictures in the world are taken on my D700, right?
But if you have trouble seeing things in the bright daylight, like seeing the back of your screen and referencing things, and if you shoot lots of people like we do, you're missing out on things like eye focus. Like there's new things that make your job easier.
Way easier.
Yeah, I was talking to a group last night, and that was one of the issues. You know, you can always see people's faces when you're talking. And I start talking about my 85 1.2, and I go, and I shoot lots and lots and lots at 1.2. And I've seen the faces, and I go, I know what you're thinking. I can't get a sharp photo at 1.2. Yes, I can. Said, but if we went back 3 years ago and I had my D850, I would say, yeah, if I'm not really careful, I'm not going to get sharp photos. But on my Z8, that thing's nailing the eye focus. I just don't get shots that aren't perfectly in focus.
You've got eye focus, you've got IBIS in body stabilization, you've got all this stuff.
And if you shoot Sony, you even have a better eye focus than I have. So, you know, it's
again, don't think of it as a threat, but
no.
think of it as a tool
Yep.
to better yourself and your photography. So, and I'm not saying anything bad about people that don't want to switch to mirrorless, but you got to try it and use it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Realize
a lot of people, there's no reason to, because we're coming at this from, you know, the fact that you and I are both professional photographers and we have to make a living. We've got to do jobs that require using these skills and these tools. But if you're somebody that just loves photography, man, that's where the AI, you should be really excited, because it's polishing your images and you're not worried about someone taking your hobby away. Like, go out and enjoy it even more.
Yeah.
And realize that, wow, now I can get the most out of the dynamic range of what my cameras can do, and, you know, truly get out and just enjoy it. I talked to a guy last night. I was speaking at the photo club, and he showed me afterwards he does a lot of macro, you know, so he does focus stacking. And I'm like, okay, how many images? He had some kind of broccoli thing he took. That looked really cool. And he's like, anywhere between 60 and 120 focus points, which is, so I don't have the patience for, right? But he's like, but once I do it, you know, the software just runs and it just does it for me. And he's like, you know, that's something years ago. He's like, 30 years ago when I was starting in macro photography, like, it would just irritate me that I couldn't get it sharp all the way through. And I tried everything possible. And he's like, now I finally get to produce the images I've always wanted to produce. He shoots on an 850.
Yep.
And I mean, it was clean and it was sharp. But when you got 120 images focus stacked, every bit of that thing is razor sharp. And yeah, it wasn't like, yeah, and then I have to spend 4 days trying to piece these things together. And so I just put the whole stack in there, and a few minutes later, I get an image.
For sure.
That I worked hard to create. So that's one of those things where AI is so good. That's all artificial intelligence is, trying to do those focus stacks and put them together and realize this one goes before this one. And, you know, how do you blend them? That's the real truth behind AI, is its tool.
Yeah. So I think, you know, just to kind of wrap up this conversation in a positive way, right, is things that you can do as a photographer to be relevant, right? Is to make sure that you're offering a unique and a personalized service.
Yep.
Everything you do is relational. You can't replace that personal connection by AI. You can't replace storytelling. You can't replace human creativity, right? AI looks at data, gives you an answer.
Yep.
The human brain can be creative on the fly.
Correct.
Right? Maybe one day it won't be that anymore, but right now it is, right? You got to diversify your skills. Get into video, right? Look at enhancing, composite with AI, right? Add creative direction, through AI, right? The kind of stuff that you can do to pre-plan, right? Embrace it. It's a tool. It's not a threat.
Yep.
I just think, photography is not dying, but it's just evolving, right? And we just have to stay ahead of this shift.
Yep.
So everything that you're doing, learn, always be learning, keep ahead. Don't be lazy. Right?
That's right. We could be entering the golden era of photography and we just don't even know it.
But love to hear your thoughts. You can leave some comments on this video and we'll respond back to your comments as long as they're nice to us. But but love to hear what you're thinking here. If you're scared of it or if you want to embrace it. So let us know.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten AI to death today, the conversation. So, but yeah, again, we'd like to hear what you have to say. And, even if you're like, hey, you know what, guys, here's a question I have, give us questions. We're always looking for questions to answer from people. We love helping people out. That's kind of our business model is built around helping photographers.
Yeah.
So we want everybody to get the most out of photography and out of this craft and art that we love. So
absolutely. All right. Until next week, don't forget.
Don't be lazy.
We'll catch you again soon. All right. Bye-bye.